My name is Humie Webbe, and I was born in Cardiff, South Wales. I'm one of 8 children, born to parents who came over to live in Wales in the 1950s from a small island in the Caribbean called St. Kitts. So I'm also a twin, and I have 2 older sisters who were born in the Caribbean. And one of the things that prompted my father to come to Wales was to make a better life for his then 2 children. And he met my mother in Cardiff, and they got married and had another 6 children. I was brought up in a housing estate in Ely, and there were quite a few families in Ely from the Caribbean, in particular St. Kitts. And it wasn't until I went to St. Kitts with my father at the age of 18 that I saw the possibilities of what education could do. I think up to that point, even though I was quite bright in school, what I wanted to do with my education was find the easiest route into employment. But what I found when I went to the Caribbean, that small island of St. Kitts, the people were so ambitious. And one of the things that they had to do if they wanted to do anything was leave the island. They actually had to go to America or Canada or the UK to actually better themselves. So when I saw people who were bankers who looked like me and politicians that looked like me, when I came back to the UK, into Wales, what I wanted to do is achieve something better for myself than just being, at that time, a chef in a hospital. And that's where I started to do more community-based work, got involved with the local community. I joined a band, and through the band, I got involved in being involved in the local carnivals and festivals. And then that progressed to doing a degree in youth and community work, where I did my Bachelor of Arts in Education. And so it really changed my focus, and it really made me appreciate my heritage, my history, and all the challenges that my parents had overcome to come to Wales to give me and my sisters and brother a better life. I've been involved, I've been interested in politics for a long period of time. I remember my father always used to put on the news as soon as he came from work, and I was always somebody who questioned why things were so. And one of the things I used to do all the time was ask my mother why she came from the Caribbean to Wales. And she was the first person to tell me that the Caribbean people were invited to Wales. And I realised then that not everybody understood the reason why Caribbean people came to Wales. And one of the things I wanted to do as I grew older is get involved with things that made a difference, not only to my communities, but to other people who I felt there was some form of injustice. And so that has been prompted also by the fact that I have an autistic son, and also my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So in terms of being interested in social justice, it's come from a very personal place. I've been fortunate that I've been involved in lots of Welsh government-led projects, and that has come from my background in youth and community work, but also in my interest in social justice. And one of the things that I've done, I've managed to marry my interests in terms of community arts, music education, with policy work. So I think for anybody who's interested in having a career within the public sector, I feel it has to be driven by your interests and your desire to make a difference. And what I would say to people, especially young people who are going into this space, this political arena, is not to be afraid of backing up your convictions and speaking up at events if you happen to be in any type of events or any type of arena where your opinions are being asked for. I think it's really important to have the confidence to speak up. Well, balancing my professional life with my personal life has been at times difficult, but what I have been able to do is be supported by the employers that I've chosen to work with. I think I've been lucky in the fact that I've worked within the voluntary sector primarily, and within the voluntary sector there is a supportive cohort of organisations and people like myself, activists, professional activists, who also have their own challenges around how they support their different communities. And I think I've been fortunate enough to have bosses that have supported me in the fact that I have to juggle looking after my son, who has autism, and also my desire to make a difference. And I think when I'm choosing employment, I am very honest in the sort of things that I want to achieve in a post. Very often the posts that I'm drawn to are posts where organisations want to make a difference. They want to engage better with Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities, and the history has shown that they've not maybe done that as effectively as they should. So I'm very much drawn to those organisations, and I think because of my networks and because of my passion and the fact that I am willing to work collaboratively with organisations if they demonstrate a willingness to change, that has enabled me to juggle my professional and my personal work. For the future, professionally, I would like to continue to work within the equality, diversity and social justice field, and maybe work into more consultancy work, especially around advising policymakers, local authorities and Welsh Government on maybe how to engage with different communities more effectively and as a more sustainable model. I do feel that in some cases when organisations are working to engage with diverse communities, it's based on a sort of project by project work, and things need to be sustainable and embedded. So I think in 2021 there's a time now where having honest conversations then with employers and policymakers about what things they are willing to do and the things that they are able to embrace. Because for me personally, I don't want to spend a lot of time working to bring people around to ideas of doing the right thing or working better if their stance is not going to change. And I think it's really important that people like myself who are activists find allies, support those allies, and in turn those allies support the work that we want to do. And on a personal note, I want to do more work with disabled people, especially young people who are on the autistic spectrum, especially around the creative industries, because my son's a talented animator and I feel more work needs to be done to support autistic creative agents and artists. I think if you come from a diverse background, there's always a sort of struggle balancing not only your personal life and professional life, but your cultural sort of background as well, and the things that you feel that your families or cultural groups will support you with. So I feel for young people in particular, it's really important to have supportive allies, and that support may come from outside of your family, but if you can find somebody to endorse your work, endorse your ideas, endorse what you want to do, that goes a long way into sometimes convincing your families to come on board and be supportive as well. And I would say to anybody who wants to work within the public sector to, volunteer. There are lots of volunteer opportunities, get involved, especially on a local level, in any type of consultations, any type of forum events where they're asking for your opinions. I think it's really important for people, if they want to go in that space, to be involved in those arenas. Finally, I would like to say that, the Ethnic Minority Women's Achievement Association has done such wonderful work in highlighting the achievements of people of colour, in particular women, who are such high achievers, especially in the field of health, education, and social justice. And anything that I can do to support the promotion of the ideas around EMWA and their focus on developing opportunities for young women, I'm happy to be involved in. And as one of the first ambassadors of the EMWA program, I'm really proud to be part of this particular movement in Wales.
Just